So there is a bombshell report out from the New Yorker. Now, this bombshell report is a report about Dianne Feinstein, Senator Feinstein. She is 87 years old. She's 13 years away from being 100 years old, and she's currently a federal U.S. Senator for the state of California. I have to say that as a Californian, I bear incredible shame for the fact that Dianne Feinstein is actually a senator. It really disgusts me, makes me want to vomit because she's a horrible senator. And what we saw recently with the Amy Coney Barrett stuff, the hug with Lindsey Graham was basically helping ACB's nomination process. And it looked like she was going to vote for her. But Chuck Schumer had a sit down with her. And so she actually failed as the top Judiciary Committee member, the leading member. She failed epically in terms of trying to really prevent ACB from getting that seat. So she is pretty heavily culpable for that. Now, what's going on is basically there's this report in the New Yorker that basically brings into her question her cognitive abilities, her cognitive capabilities, and is basically saying she's dealing with Alzheimer's and is forgetting a lot of stuff and is unable to really understand things. So it says Senator Dianne Feinstein forgets conversations and gets upset with her staff for not briefing her on a topic moments after they do, according to a new report from the New Yorker. The U.S. Senator from California is said to be struggling with her short-term memory, even forgetting things she herself has said. Sources familiar with the situation told the New Yorker's Jane Meyer. One person described a meeting in which Feinstein's staff struggled to explain a policy proposal to her that she could not understand, referring to the situation as a, quote, Kabuki meeting, a reference to a highly stylized form of Japanese drama. Sources told Mayer that the situation has been hard on Feinstein's staff, and that the senator also gets frustrated when she is unable to follow. Though Mayer also reported some former aides said the issue has been overblown. Key word there, former aides, obviously there. But, obviously, anybody would get frustrated when they're not able to follow something, but, dementia and Alzheimer's has one of the symptoms of it is, getting really angry, really frustrated, because, your brain is kind of, it's really sort of, it's diminished, it's deteriorated, so you get frustrated a lot, you kind of go towards anger more. Also, one thing that they reference is when she was asking Jack Dorsey questions, she asked the same question over again without realizing it, which is, again, a typical thing of Alzheimer's/dementia. It also, here's an interesting piece, it says, the New Yorker report also said Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer had told Feinstein to step down from the post twice because she had forgotten the first conversation they had about it. So, that's pretty much all you need to know. Again, Chuck Schumer had to tell her to step down from the post twice, okay, because she forgot. So, essentially, she's forgetting stuff. And this is what this is going to do, hopefully, is it's hopefully going to really spark a conversation about age caps for politicians. I think that once you are 70 years old, I think you should be forced to retire. You should not be allowed to run for a seat because you are much older. You are way too old to hold a seat. If we have requirements to run for office in terms of age requirements, I don't see why an age cap doesn't make sense, right? Your brain starts to deteriorate over time. It's just natural. It's just what happens, right? You get older. It's just what happens. So I don't understand. Once you're getting into the 70s, retire. You should be forced to retire. There should be a politician age cap, absolutely. I think there should also be term limits as well to prevent a lot of these sort of career politicians who make a lot of money from it and become celebrities and stuff like that. It's very stupid, very annoying, and sort of a dumb system in my opinion. But this is going to spark that kind of a conversation we've seen with Joe Biden right now. He also has dementia. It's very, very obvious. I would say the argument for Joe Biden's dementia is actually way more clear than Dianne Feinstein. Just because Joe Biden was going up against Trump or, he won the election, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have dementia. Joe Biden is pretty deeply in dementia. It's a very easy, clean-cut case in terms of listing off all of the things that he had forgotten, like saying that he's in the wrong city, or the times where he misstated the cities that mass shootings had happened, or the times where he said Margaret Thatcher in place of Theresa May, or the time where he said he was vice president during the Parkland shooting, which happened under Trump's presidency, or like when he said he worked with the Chinese leader who's already been dead for 20 years. He said he worked with in Obama's administration on the Paris Climate Accord when the guy's been dead for 20 years. That's impossible. He wasn't a vice president until 2008, but he died in 2000. So how do you work with him? The list is literally endless, by the way. And you guys all know that. It's really sad to see you've got the most powerful positions and they can't even remember what they're talking about. You have to repeat it to them if they forget. How the fuck is that possible? How the fuck do people vote for these people? And so it's really disgusts me that Dianne Feinstein's in office. First of all, you guys know she's really rich as well. But she's not. She was elected like 5 years ago. She was elected 2 years ago in 2018. It was really, really sad that she was voted in. Much preferred Kevin De Leon, who was her opponent. I'm excited for her to step down. Hopefully she steps down immediately. I don't think she's going to, unfortunately, but this is a big story for sure. And it's really going to bring this stuff into question, man. You've got demented old people in office who are like 85, 86, 80, 75. Like, this is really old. You need to retire. And, RBG did the same thing, obviously. It's a really bad thing. You need to retire and move on. You are too old to serve. Your brain has deteriorated. It's just the way that nature goes as life goes on. You don't stay in the same condition. You get older. Time wears on you. And I really hope we pass an age cap for politicians at 70. And I think 70 is even being a little bit generous, I would say. But definitely 70 for sure. I mean, 87 is how old Dianne Feinstein is. 87 is higher than the average lifespan in the U.S. I think it's 77. That's 10 years more than, like, average lifespan. That's insanity. That's crazy. If you have to be 18 to vote, and you have to be 25 to run for the House, and then you have to be 30 for Senate and 35 for President, there has to be age caps as well, because the same concept still exists, which, you have to develop and whatever. But when you're on the way down, it's not like you're just like this. No, it's like this as you age. So it's pretty ridiculous that we're seeing this happen. And it's one of the more bizarre and scary things, I would say, the fact that, people just voted in Joe Biden. Clear dementia, super obvious. Most obvious thing I've ever seen in my life. It's scary, man. Definitely very scary. But I don't know what's going to happen.